Hey everybody, welcome to an exciting episode of NC-17. My name is Josh, and today with us we have talented, multi-talented. This dude does a lot. I mean, he's got a long list. We got FERENC GREGOR with us. How are you doing today?
Josh, how you doing? Thanks for having us on. It's a pleasure.
Oh yeah. So for those of them out there that don't know, kind of give us a brief introduction of your life and what you do outside of film, and then we'll get into the films.
Ooh, there's a list, right? I have a main studio called Sobraz Studio. Sobraz is the Hungarian word for sculptor. So I'm a an artist, an artisan by trade. I work in a lot of different mediums. My background goes back artistically, coming out of school. Never went to art schools, any of that nature. But I did, I did go through the grade schools, high schools, art classes, and sometimes you just don't deny things that stick to the wall all your life. You begin
Yeah.
to nurture them, and it is a passion of mine. I made my contribution to the reason some people are glad the '80s are over musically. Um, Used to play music for a living back then, and working with the studio and the film, we do a very wide array. Some of the stuff that we do is very mainstream. uh Primarily I'm a stone carver and bone carver, and those applications go pretty wide. I also work with a team of very talented people called Man at Arms, with Baltimore Knife and Sword. The web series has been around for a long time. We ran the TV series Man at Arms Art of War on the El Rey network for quite some time, and all that stuff was a real blast. Um, I moved more into film, excuse me, with a lot of the artwork that I do, uh, as a way to promote the artworks on the web series, but also it's another medium that I enjoy working in, the visual, the audio mediums. And so for me, it's kind of a big giant ramen bowl. I get to keep taking different mediums I like to create in and be able to put them all into one bowl.
Oh yeah. uh, so for movies, kind of take us back. What was your first memory of movies that kind of like got you interested in wanting to be involved with movies?
Ooh. You know, I remember when I was a little kid, my passion was to become an anthropologist when I was a little guy, right? And so we were really big into cavemen and all the Paleolithic things and things of that nature. And I remember we used to actually get a camera and make caveman movies, my friends and I. We'd go outside and spend the whole day making some weird little 8 millimeter movie, and then we set up a tiny little theater and play them, and nobody showed up, but we watched them. So that was kind of the introduction, I guess, for that. As far as over the past few years, forgive me, I'm a little hoarse today,
Oh, yeah, all right.
but working with the Man at Arms franchise, which was a web series and a TV series, and a lot of that is it's built around a build show, crafting show. So a lot of that type of thing is done somewhat documentary style, and we wanted to create something that was more, for lack of a better term, a little more cinematic. I mean, I grew up with Tales from the Crypt
Oh
and
yeah.
things of that. Still a big fan. Actually, you can see I got my little guy, little vintage '80s dude sitting there, and he does work. He talks,
All right.
right? Um, I grew up with that kind of stuff, watching the old black and whites, Nosferatu, Frankenstein, The Mummy, um, and a lot of the spoopy, what we call spoopy stuff. Was a big fan of the Abbott and Costellos, Laurel and Hardy's, and Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein, things of that nature. TV shows, I grew up with the Munsters, things like that. So to me, that macabre, dark kind of horror thing was part of my introduction to beginning to really love film.
Oh yeah. Uh, so I do want to touch up on Faces of the Undead, which I have been fortunate enough to see. Actually, everyone involved with the award show has been able to see. Uh,
Dig it.
what's
Dig it.
when you say macabre, the way this film kind of played out, I saw the inspirations that you've mentioned, and it was for me it was intriguing because I go for the blood and gore, you know, but I watch everything except for romance. I don't do romance, but watching this was intriguing, but also exciting because I was seeing a different side to the genre that I haven't seen in a long time. Like I've seen a lot of people do Nosferatu and stuff like that, but this was, albeit, like set in a period of time, it also was fresh, a refreshing sight. How did you come up with the story, and what was what was the reasoning behind these specific moments in the movie?
The inspiration for Faces of the Undead, the anthology, that was part one,
Yeah.
and we're in production for part two now. The inspiration actually came from the web series that we have. Um, just a quick little background. What we do is, as opposed to crafting an item off screen and then presenting it and showing you some of the crafting on screen and then telling you some history about it, we began to do short films, and we do all of the artwork and crafting while in character acting out the roles in the film. So that in itself is a whole different twist. I wanted to come up with another episode for the web series, and I said, well, why don't I just go ahead and surround it on something that I already make, as opposed to creating an entire new item? Um, and I've always wanted to do more of a feature type film. So I kind of walked myself into that, and instead of doing the web series episode, created Faces of the Undead, built around some of the sculptures which you would see as the props in the film. The inspiration for the subject matter and the plot and whatnot, really, um, I wanted to approach certain things in horror differently than has been done a lot of times. Gore and everything. Personally, I can take it, I can leave it. I like me, as a creative, I tend to see that and I can like it if it fits. The other part of me is it's like, okay, well, yeah, I know how they did that. Oh, they did that really well. Yeah, and I don't want to pick it apart because
Oh
I
yeah.
want to be able to stand back and just enjoy, what's given to us. Um, Big inspiration for the Faces anthology is approaching horror and the subjects of mental health and mental illness struggles across the board, addiction, many different conditions, uh, from a different angle. Um, Kind of a blend of the psychological horror, but giving it a little bit more of a grounded note um, of that struggle. It does take place in New Orleans. However, it does take place modern day. As we say in the beginning of the film, this is the 100th year anniversary of the Cask and Coffin Club. And what happens is, as Dr. Asher is telling some of the history of the venue, it begins to trigger the character that I portray, um, and seeing some of the past. So we really want to keep everyone, if possible, on the edge. We don't want to say it's happening, it's all in its head, or did it really happen? That's up to the viewer, because we want to keep the viewer hopefully in a similar position as the characters. Is it happening? Is it not? You know, it's that struggle with what is real and what is not, and the effects of that, because the effects of that either way do become real for people.
Oh yeah. So like you said, you don't I want to touch up on something you said. You said you don't want to dissect a film and pick it apart and stuff like that, which is awesome. I find with films like Faces of the Undead and like other films that are of that magnitude, that not only are the characters playing a character, but the dialogue becomes a character itself.
Mm.
And these characters that I was witnessing, their words had me hanging on the edge of my seat, like, okay, this is being said because it's setting something up here. And the follow through was magnificent,
Thank you.
you know. So in creating just the dialogue, was that specifically the way you kind of wanted to set it up as if it was its own character?
Mm. You know that's a really interesting point. Consciously, I'm not so sure if that really played in. Maybe subconsciously, because for us, the way that Faces was created and written is there is a lot of layers. It's a multiple watch, the way that we put it, and it's the way that I like to describe it. It's a two-lane road going to the same place. You can watch it in one lane and just say, okay, hopefully I'm entertained and I enjoyed this movie, this film, and then watch it again in the left lane, and you pick up all those subtleties in the dialogue, different little visuals. The fact that many of the cast are playing dual roles, and all that is very integral to the plot and the storyline, which carries into part two. So yeah, yeah, it does. It takes on a life of its own.
Oh yeah.
One of the things, I do things very, very unorthodox as far as process when it comes to creating film work. Um, Pretty much all across the board in it. I get a lot of people that look at me like a puppy dog and go, "You doing what?" Um, I write as I go. I do not write full scripts,
Oh yeah.
like many people will do. There's a couple reasons for that I do it that way. Most of the writing that I've done is a lot of shorts, short films, which are blended, the crafting and the storytelling, which has to be cohesive for the web series. So it's a little bit of a template for me to work that way, and it works well for me. Um, we are self-funded. We do have a crowdfunder. Thank you for all the people that have contributed, but we are primarily self-funded. So I like to see the films take on a life of their own a little bit, along with the cast input and everyone's input for it to be and become what it needs to be, not necessarily what I was trying to mold everything and everyone into.
Oh yeah.
For me, that's a very organic process.
Oh yeah.
And so, yeah, the dialogue takes on little lives of their own, and all of a sudden, they all come together and it becomes very cohesive.
Oh yeah. Uh, so let's talk about the people who portrayed your characters, the actors and actresses. And choosing well, first, did you write specific things for specific people, or was it something where it was open to anybody who wanted to come and try out for it?
A little bit of both, which goes to the way that I tend to write. Um, I when I'm casting, and I did put a call out, especially for the part of Vera, which the wonderful magical Chloe Stewart came in and played Vera. What I like to do is when I meet people, even if I'm putting a call out, but primarily a lot of the way that I do things is I'll have an idea for characters, and I will meet different people. For instance, I could meet you, Josh, and we could talk, and you'd be like, hey, Ference, dig it. I'd like to be a part of this. So what I would like to do is spend some time with you
Oh yeah.
and see a character in you that is natural for you, as opposed to hunting down someone that can recreate everything that's in my head for that particular character. Um, there's a lot of reasons for doing it that way. Everything from the practicality of budget, time, blah, blah. Um, to me, it makes it much more interpersonal that way.
Oh yeah.
Some of the cast in part one had never been on screen before. Some of them do have experience. Some have, Chloe Stewart, for example. This was her first film, but she has vast stage experience. And so I do like to write the characters to fit the people. Dr. Asher, played by Robert Dean, the Southern gentleman is right up Robert's alley,
Oh yeah.
naturally, just when you meet him, you know,
Oh yeah.
things of that nature.
Oh yeah. Uh, so along with the dialogue, I'm also a big fan of if the music or just like the atmosphere also takes on a character of itself. And I think doing the present time and then when he's telling the stories and getting to see the flashbacks and stuff, that sometimes, in my opinion, makes for a better movie. And for instance, like at the beginning, I was like, all right, cool, this is what we're going to get. But then when I saw the first story, I was like, that was awesome. What was the mindset with that? And does that play into going into further parts of the anthology?
Um, as far as the segments and the flashbacks, again, I tend to not write full script. I
Yeah.
get ideas in my head and I go, oh man, I can see this and this segment. I'm going to go ahead and shoot it.
Oh yeah.
And so for me, what happens is, and again, I kind of go back to the template that I use for the short films with the web series. My formula for the web series is loosely 10 aspects highlights of the artisan crafting, 10 highlights aspects of storyline, and then connect them.
Oh yeah.
Very similar with Faces Part One was done very similar to that. We have this character story, these people's story, this and that, and then I see how things should be connected, or the options for connecting them.
Oh
And I
yeah.
work a lot with that, which is very out of the box. I know. But it works well for me.
Oh yeah.
And yes, musically, I'm real big on the fact that we have a lot of senses, and music in a film is very intricately critical.
Oh yeah.
Um, we did score the entire film ourselves, all the special effects sounds, all the music pieces. Um, the song Evermore was done by my son Tristan. Um, that was not written for the film.
Okay.
However, it fit like a glove.
Oh yeah.
And I won't get into too many things personally
Yeah.
about that. However, it became a main piece for the film because it really expresses what's going on in the struggles and the storyline with characters. Um, all the New Orleans jazz stuff and everything. Tristan and I and Sean Sokolowski, who plays that short little part of the waiter in the beginning. Sean is a very talented musician as well, and laid down some bare bones, handed it to Sean. Sean created an entire band, basically, um, and really laid stuff out, working with Mark Kelly, who is a trumpet player out of Baltimore. He has since moved out of the Maryland area. And Daniel Lee, who is my main trumpet player. Um, Excuse me. So when you hear all that New Orleans jazz trumpets and everything, those are those are real instruments. Those are not synthetic. And it's a pleasure and honor and a joy to be able to work with people of that caliber. My
Oh yeah.
girl Elizabeth Brewster doing some cello lines in between. Myself, I did a lot of the in between stuff, the background keyboard, the guitar pieces near the end when the Necromancer character comes up to Vera on the sidewalk. Um, we just love doing the musical scores. And yes, I think it is extremely integral to be able to emphasize both the visuals, the moods, the changes of moods, just across the board.
Oh yeah. Uh, so you did say something earlier that it is a layered film. So I have watched it a couple times. I would like to kind of give you, if it's okay with you, I'd like to give you my perspective on the film.
Please, please, yeah, I'm wonderful to hear everyone's opinions, everything's input, across the board from 0 to 10, anywhere in between. We're open.
Oh yeah. Uh, a lot of films that I've seen have a good beginning, middle, but not end, or a good end and beginning, but not middle. Never like it. I trust me. I watch too many movies, but as my wife would say. But with this one, the music, the dialogue, the acting, the story, just everything all around hit on a different level. Like I said, it kept me intrigued. I'll give you a rating. The rating to me is definitely a strong 9.5. If you've seen any of my interviews, I love longer movies, but so I'll take away like a half a point for that. But the thing is at the end of the day, I'll, even though some people would say horror, yes, I, I kind of did. I saw it as a horror movie, but I also kind of saw it as a love letter to horror, if that makes sense. You know,
Very
and
much.
and I don't use those words a lot, especially in the same sentence, but to me, just everything meshed so well together. It was like like a nod to present and past, and that's phenomenal. So I appreciate you for one letting me see it, and then two also for just putting it out there. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Well, thank you, and thank you for that input. Even some of the cast, um, Christopher Inlow, very talented actor. He's been in a lot of different films, and him and the Peas and Carrots, Nancy Ann Ritter, who played the couple walking out of the bar, and we're working on scripting their parts for upcoming part two as well. And Christopher kind of describes it as kind of a 80s horror with a drama film blend is how he looks at it. And again, I didn't want to go with hard beat down, so to speak, horror. It does have some of the body horror elements. It has a lot of the different elements. But again, we were taking an approach of a more grounded approach to the real horrors in real life of
Oh
those mental health struggles. And so yeah, it is kind of a love letter to horror. I like that. Thank you.
yeah. you know, uh, my favorite scene is when the couple is walking out and she's just sitting there. Because I was like, that just her kind of movements and facial expressions told a completely different story that I don't want to allude to because I think it might have something to do with part two. Because I may be wrong, but I I respect the fact that every character had their moments to shine. But that was my favorite scene because to me that seemed such between all three of them. It just seemed so like the right mood at that time, if that makes sense. So
Yes. Um, excuse me. Yeah, when Vera's sitting outside, um, she was just thrown out of the brothel.
Mm-hmm.
Goodness gracious, today. Pardon me. It's so cold outside, and I've been having to yell across the yard a whole bunch, so it's a little hoarse today.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, that is a very vulnerable moment. Um, Vera has been cast out of the brothel. Now she's back on the streets. However, she's been changed in
Mm-hmm.
respects. I won't get into it for those who have not seen it. Um, so now, it's kind of back to square one, but she's going to have to stay in the moment and use what she has now.
Oh yeah.
She can't go back anymore. So now she's going to attempt to take advantage of that. Um, there's a strange twist on the whole reason the necromancer is doing what he's doing with two other people. Um, he did not sign up for this to do this, but it's a very twisted way of the therapeutic of one helping another.
Oh yeah.
He is trying to show them it's not the answer
Oh
by giving them the experience.
yeah.
And I know that is a really twisted way to go about it, but that is intentionally twisted.
Oh yeah.
So,
Uh
yeah, it is a very vulnerable moment um, for Vera and the necromancer because they do have a connection there.
oh yeah. All right. So, what advice, I ask this to every guest, would you give to anyone who's trying to break into the industry, whether it be writing, acting, directing, just anything within the fathom of entertainment? What advice would you give to those?
Bottom line is for me, my number one advice is learn from everyone from the top down, but follow your passion. Don't compromise your passion uh, for accreditation, for money, for this, that, and the other thing. All these kind of practical things come into play. But if you want to make a film, you have a phone, start making a film.
Yeah.
Pick a subject and just start doing it. Um, that probably comes from part of the reason for myself as well that I don't write full scripts, everything else. I shoot as I go. I'm a very visual person. So I need to begin to shoot certain parts and then I can go into post, compile things and go, okay, now I see where that goes. Now I see what would lead up to this.
Oh yeah.
Be experimental and be true to yourself and follow your passions. That's my number one thing.
Oh yeah.
Um, I'm not going to say don't do it for the viewer, for the audience, but if you don't follow your passion for yourself first, what else do you have to give?
Exactly. Exactly. So kind of because you've already mentioned that this is an anthology, kind of walk us through where you hope this anthology to be within the next 5 years.
It's a two-part anthology.
All right.
Um, it's been a heck of a year, and I had to take some time off for a while. A lot of the cast, of course, they're not just sitting around doing nothing but waiting to hear from me. Um, I tend to use the same crew, the same two DPs. Hannah Oneda, she does magic. Druitt is my other DP primarily. So everybody's kind of busy. We're looking to hopefully wrap by the end of January for part two and go into post completely. Um, again, I've probably got about 19, almost 20 minutes in the can now, and it's in certain levels of post because I don't just wait till everything's done and then schedule months of looking at film and doing everything else. I start to compile and cut after each shoot and put things in the can to organize and then revisit. Um, so we're looking to wrap around end of January. Part two picks up in a facility where the character I portray, as you can see what happens in the ending of part one, uh, it is in a certain place. So now we pick up in a facility. Um, you watched, I believe the file I sent you had a short teaser of part two.
Yeah.
Right. The whole thing with the eyes, and I'll talk about this because the teaser's out there publicly. I have a chronic eye condition, and one of the treatments that my eye doctors have put me on this year is what's literally called blood tears, where they make eye drops specifically for me out of my own blood. So as soon as the doctors explained that process and said blood tears, I was like, production.
Oh yeah.
We're switching some things around here because you just gave me the golden ticket to hit the turnstile anywhere I want to go.
Oh yeah.
As you see, part one seems like it's very disjointed, kind of out there all over the place, but it comes together. And that is intentional. Again, some of the mental health struggles that we deal with is very disjointed. We want that feeling in the viewer to kind of be in that same place. Um, part two is even more out there. We just this November, we just did all the shots with what we call the necro sled, the motorcycle.
Yeah.
Um, which yeah, now winter's coming, so I'm sad I can't go out and ride as much. It's cold, slippery,
Oh yeah.
especially in that old thing. That is my bike.
Oh yeah.
Um, but again, it'll pick up, and we're bringing back a lot of the same faces. We have some new people coming in that we brought in. Again, the way that we write, we've had a couple people that we've brought in that have little and no experience, and what I'm doing is writing parts around them so that they can shine the best in their performance and that we can actually do it. A lot of
Yeah.
times, for instance, a young man named Michael Emery, who we are bringing in for a small part. Michael lives pretty far away. So for him to travel out here to set what it would take, set everything up, we've written him a part to where we can actually do his entire part remote.
Okay.
So part of that comes into, uh, again, what is my advice for people getting into film? There is a plethora of options that you have to work around obstacles. Do it creatively. Let your mind go. Figure out, the sky's the limit. It's just a matter if you're the one writing, you can write anything you want
Oh
to
yeah.
be able to make something work.
Oh yeah. Uh, couple more questions. We're getting near the end of the show. Uh, when you have downtime, or do you have downtime? Because I know a lot of people just creatively keep working in some way, shape, or form. But when you have downtime, what do you do to kind of like take yourself away from everything and kind of just have you time?
It's strange for me. I have a family, married, I have children, and the film work outside of the film work, I have an art studio as well. This is what I do for a living. This is my career. I'm a career carver and artisan for 40 some years. And so it is very all consuming. Um, Taking myself away from me time, so to speak, it's doing my passions, writing the music, doing the things. Uh, for me, it's more of a matter of the me time is something that I can express myself, be it through the artwork, the music, spending time with my family, going places, doing whatever it is that isn't on some deadline.
Oh yeah.
It's not. It's basically it just boils down to what am I doing that I don't have the pressure of 80 things telling me you got to do this way right now.
Oh yeah.
Um, some people talk about writer's block, um, creative blocks, things of that nature. I don't believe in that. Do I get into places where I'm just not in the zone? Oh yeah. Um, Past couple of months, it's been very difficult writing with part two because I have a lot of other things going on. So creating something from nothing, so to speak, writing a film, you kind of got to get in the pocket and hopefully stay there, once things get flowing. So what I do is I take notes for when I have those small moments that something pops in my head, and I get pages of little notes, and that helps me get started. It helps me pull the lawnmower string when it's time to, when I need time to sit down and try to progress with certain things. Um, but for the most part, it's I don't believe in writer's block and anything. If I am having difficulty in a creative mode for something specific, I'll go take a break and go do something else. I'll look up and I like to cook. So I'll go find a recipe for something I've never tried from another country, and get creative cooking something or get creative doing something that doesn't include the pressures that I would have in this mode or this medium. And so that's kind of my me time, I suppose.
Oh yeah. All right. Final question, and then I'll give you the floor so you can plug your socials. The NC-17 awards. This is the biggest awards show we've had to date. Uh, when you found out that Faces of the Undead was actually up for some awards, what was your initial reaction?
I was blown away, really. Really, it's like we've been working to put the film out there, and hopefully get some of the cast noticed, some of the music, the musicians, basically the crew, and basically just like promoting any other film, we're hoping everyone gets noticed, that helps them along. When I saw the post on, I believe it was on Facebook, I saw the post that Faces of the Undead was listed. I was like, whoa, so it's just we're just trying to get get things out there. And yeah, I mean, I was really taken back, not to demean our own project, you know,
Right.
but it's always a wonderful feeling to have other people go, hey, wow, you know, look at this. And so it's that acknowledgement, I guess so to speak, is just an honor. It really is. As a nomination, I know some of the other filmmakers and the other films on that list, and I'm just like, wow, I'm actually Face of the Undead is actually in the same page as these titles. It's like, wow.
Oh yeah. Uh, so again I say it every time I even mention the awards. I myself will not be deciding who wins. I do help nominate, but everyone else who's behind the scenes of the award show, they are the ones who are going to decide the winners. And I feel it's only right that I take myself out because I am the CEO of NC-17, and that wouldn't be fair to anybody. So, but I will say that we all enjoyed it, and we all are on the same mindset that it was a phenomenal movie. So, yeah.
Thank you. We dearly appreciate that, and we're glad you enjoyed it, and lets us know that we're on the right track, hopefully. And we dearly appreciate it. And we're honored that you took the time to consider it and watch the film, and I hope that you enjoy part two when it comes out as much as part one. Again, the little bit of the teaser is out there, so there is still going to be a lot of the pulling people back and forth. Is it real? Is it not? Um, and that's kind of where we want to keep things with the anthology because that really is the root of the struggle,
Oh yeah.
regardless of what what treatment you go through, what experiences each and all have, and it's a statement that um, like a lot of things in horror that we mentioned earlier are situationally different, but it's the same kind of thing done again and again, just situationally different. So I wanted to take that message into Faces, but in a way to we all have the same feelings, we all experience the same types of things, though we do it situationally different.
Oh yeah.
But that baseline is that baseline there, we are all connected in that bottom, that root of that baseline.
Oh yeah. I mean, you're speaking nothing but facts to me. Trust me, I know. uh, well, I do want to give you a couple minutes to plug your socials where people can or cannot reach out to you. That's entirely up to you. Where they can see the work you've got out and just plug whatever you'd like to plug.
Great. Thank you, Josh. If you'd like to view some of the stuff on the web series, that is on YouTube. It's called Things Forsaken, is our channel on YouTube. And you can also see some of the trailers there for the Faces of the Undead. But you'll see a lot of the hybrid build videos there as well. I think, I don't know, we're 12, 13 episodes in there. You can find us Things Forsaken on Facebook, Faces of the Undead on Facebook. I am on Facebook, but if you try to contact me or whatever through my personal page, you're probably better off not. I use it strictly for entertainment, and I'm not on there myself a whole lot. Please reach out to us through the Things Forsaken pages, Faces of the Undead pages. Part one is out on DVD and Blu-ray, and you can get those at www.thingsforsaken.com. That is our website where a lot of the works from the web series, the merch from Faces of the Undead franchise will be. You can find us again, Instagram, TikTok, everything that I have managed to get my kids to teach me how to use. So it's all there. And yeah, reach out to us. If you've seen the film, please let us know what you think. If you have not seen the film, we would enjoy deeply and be very grateful for your support in picking up part one. It helps us get part two made. And Josh, thank you so very much for having us on. It's an honor. And thank you to NC-17 altogether for considering Faces of the Undead. And just thank you.
All right. You're most welcome. It was my honor and privilege and pleasure to have you on. You're an awesome person. You've been an awesome guest. Uh, I tell everybody once you've been on NC-17, you have a home with us. So you're more than welcome to come on here anytime, whether it be to plug a movie, talk movies, or say, Josh, you got a booger on your nose, which I clean it out every day. So, uh, but no, it has been an honor. And please, everyone who's going to see this, reach out to Faces of the Undead on Facebook and make sure that you follow them, support them, and yeah, just show your love and support for independent film. That's pretty much what I got. All right, everybody. Till next time, stay in C17.